Okay. All right.
They weren't here. I don't know if they're coming.
I didn't get an email from them, so I sent whatever I sent. I'm going to go get a redacted copy of the charging affidavit and bring out. I'm printing them right now so that you guys will have that. But he'll be out here momentarily. I just wanted to get you some information so we know what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Are we good before I walk away? Good height.
On a cell phone number?
407-202. And I don't remember the last four, but I'll get that for you. I have it right here in my hand, but but that's the first part of it.
We'll work on it. No worries.
Yes, I will bring that to you.
Okay.
All right, so let me go get the charging affidavit for everybody, and then he'll be right out.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
A
little closer. Right there.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking that the chief might have thought that everyone else was here.
Would you let them know about the
He might have thought it was.
No, but I told him, I'm like, and I looked up, and he told me, I said, it's only 9 months. So I don't know what the other two
Park up 15 minutes away on the third. It was dark.
And
We had a sign.
I'm calling in the tip one just to make sure.
And how did you
No, we left. We have to go to some other filming, which didn't even work out.
No,
They
I wanna do it well.
Oh, you guys might ask you.
Yeah, yesterday morning. Were you guys in Ashton?
Oh, these
Yesterday was in Pompano. I was like, please.
Could you do me a favor though? And I'll take a mic check.
Everybody else good, or you guys all need a mic check? Good. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Perfect.
It'll be the same.
He didn't take the head count, so if I run out of these, I will.
Okay.
Who wants to read these before we? Ladies first.
Thank you.
You are
You
so
heard me,
welcome.
Tony.
You're welcome. Anybody else? This way, yes, ma'am.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah, you made it. Oh.
Welcome back, Allie.
Good.
Oh, look, he just texted me. We agreed to share with Fox.
All right. I'll give y'all a minute to look at this, and I will be right back.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey, Bentley.
I'll check.
How you doing?
Hey, do you want to hardwire this mic?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, let's see. It's on. You can't hear me? Yeah, mic test 1 2. 1 2, mic check. I got you. I get you. No, you don't get anything from me? Mic test? 1 2. Nothing. No audio.
I guess a completely different thing. And so, but
Okay, sorry. No, what's going on?
Right. That's what I really
Here.
thought.
Hey, it's Ricky. I don't know what's going on with this audio. You got me? Mic test 1 2 1 2 on October 26th. Ready?
I haven't had more than 20 minutes.
You got it? Oh, I don't know what's going on.
And not just that, we send it up to a producer.
You need a white balance?
Executive producer on the corner, they'll look at it, they'll send it down to changes, and in fact, we'll do that for a couple days, just so everyone's on the same page. And yeah, it's a nice.
Got everybody?
Oh, hey.
Everybody ready? Anybody not ready?
Hold on. I'm going to count you down. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
We're waiting for one more photographer.
Oh, okay. We can wait.
All right.
We got everybody now? Were you the one we were missing? Okay. Everybody ready? All right. Good morning. I'm Chief Mike McKinley, M-C-K-I-N-L-E-Y, with the Apopka Police Department. This morning I just want to give you an update on the shooting that occurred at Northwest Recreation Center last night at approximately 8:20 p.m. and charged with attempted second-degree murder an 11-year-old. That's not good. We shouldn't have 11-year-olds that have access to guns and think that they can resolve a dispute with a firearm. The two victims in this case are 13 years old. One was released from the hospital last night. They were struck in the arm. The other one was struck in the torso. They underwent surgery, it's my understanding, are still in stable condition at the hospital. So at this time, that's where we're at. It's a sad day when an 11-year-old can gain access to a firearm, and additional charges are probably pending against some adults.
What are the charges that this 11-year-old is facing right now? And number two is, how are we moving on from this? This is an 11-year-old kid, and I want to stress that out. I mean, I'm sure you guys are just as appalled as we are that an 11-year-old had access to guns.
We are. You know, as a society, we need to reflect on this. We see this way too often in our society now, of juveniles, young juveniles, and they're getting younger every day, that have access to guns. But the more disturbing part is that they believe that that gun, that firearm, is a resolution to their problems, and it's not a resolution to anybody's problems. It just creates more problems for everybody involved. The victims, the suspects, these young kids, they're ruining their lives when they're making these bad decisions to use a firearm to end a dispute. This started as an argument over something at the Pop Warner practice, and it continued into the parking lot where this juvenile had access to a firearm in his mother's car. He grabbed the firearm. The incident was captured on video. We'll try to redact that video and have it later today available for everybody. But he did go after the two, fired one shot. That one shot hit both victims. It's my understanding one's on the 11U and one's on the 13U Pop Warner, but I don't know that for sure, but that's what I've been told.
What kind of charges could the parents face in this situation?
It is a crime to allow your children to have access to a firearm in an unsecured box. In this case, the firearm was in a box. It did not have a lock on it, and we will be pursuing charges for that crime. It is a second-degree misdemeanor. But they, you know, for all the parents out there, you have a firearm in your car or a firearm in your house, you have a responsibility to make sure that that firearm is secure and not accessible to our youth or your juveniles, your children, because it only takes one bad decision in a split second to ruin their lives.
So the child who opened fire was 11.
Correct.
Two others were 13?
Correct.
Gotcha. Was the gun recovered?
Yes.
Have you been able to make contact with the coach of this team, or during practice? Where were they?
We've been in contact with all the representatives of Pop Warner and discussing the incident with them to figure out how they can move forward. We have to remember that this is an isolated incident between three juveniles. The Northwest Recreation Center is a very safe place. There's thousands of people up there every day, every night, every weekend. There's all kinds of sports, from travel baseball, travel soccer, club soccer with the city, volleyball games, football games through Pop Warner, and I believe AAU has football games up there also. So this is an isolated incident. In the 8 years that I've been the police chief in the city of Apopka, this is the first time we've had some kind of violent act that I can recall like this. Occasionally we'll have, scuffle between some parents that don't agree with what's going on from one side or the other, but nothing to this extent. I think that the Northwest Recreation Center is still safe for everybody to visit. It's an isolated incident, and again, if the parents and adults will take care and secure their firearms, we wouldn't have incidents like this.
You said altercation. Can you kind of go over that? Were they physically fighting? Were they arguing? Do we know what led
It's
to this?
my understanding there was a physical fight prior to this incident occurring.
Now, Chief, this report says that the mother was aware that there was some trouble between these kids. What advice would you give to parents who are aware of things like this in terms of like conflict resolution? Obviously, this led to a shooting.
Well, I think it's important for all of us to understand that, you know, we need to have good communication with our children. This child should have been able to just sit down in the passenger seat of this car, close the door, and been in the security of his car with his mother. Instead, he chose to grab a firearm and resolve the issue with the firearm. Communication with our children to make sure that they understand that we're there for them and that we'll help them through these incidents. I'm sure that there could have been discussion between the parents of all the children involved, the Pop Warner representatives, and everybody else to resolve this issue in a manner other than what it was. What makes an 11-year-old feel the necessity to grab a firearm and in this altercation is beyond me.
Do we know exactly why they started fighting though in the first place?
I do not know what led up to the initial fight.
Do we know if the firearm was legally possessed by the parents?
It's my understanding everything was legal with the firearm,
What can you say to
other than it was not in a secure, locked case and accessible to children.
What could you say to describe the moments that 11-year-old was arrested when the officers confronted them when they made it on the scene? Like, were no incident or anything? Like, was there any dangerous scenario?
There was no incident. There was a little bit of an unruly crowd when we first arrived. Obviously, it was a hectic situation and a lot of things going on. Our officers were able to control the crowd. You know, it's a shame. Nobody wants to arrest an 11-year-old by any means, but you know, based on our investigation, we feel that those charges are warranted.
I know you did this last night, but can we have you go over the step-by-step details of what happened from 8:20 when you guys got to the
Yeah. We actually, our communications center received the call at 8:18 p.m. It was dispatched at 8:20 p.m. Our officers arrived at 8:24 p.m. So overall, between the time the comm center received the call and the time officers were on scene, it was approximately 6 minutes. It was a 4-minute response time from the time it was dispatched. So upon their arrival, they were able to secure the firearm, the vehicle the firearm was in, and the scene, and detain the 11-year-old until our investigators could arrive and investigate and decide what we were going to do.
Where is the 11-year-old now, and what happens from this point with
The 11-year-old was booked in the Juvenile Assessment Center under second-degree attempted murder, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. It'll be up to the court system as to what happens with him. You know, hopefully it's our hope that the 11-year-old gets the assistance that he needs to make sure that this isn't a resolution for the rest of his life, that he can resolve this matter, move on. He's 11. He has a long life ahead of him. There's no doubt that he can turn things around. Hopefully our court system, through diversion programs or whatever, and counseling and other things, can help him pass this and move to a point where reaching for a firearm is not his resolution in the future.
Chief, what's the contact like with the victim and the victim's families?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Meaning, like, have you been in contact with the victims who are recovering and their families, and what are they saying?
Our patrol officers were at the hospital with the victims and their families. Our investigators have talked to the families. I have not spoken to the families personally, but obviously everybody's upset that this occurred, and just thankful, and we all thank God that nobody was hurt more seriously than what they were, because this could have been a very tragic incident. There were a lot of people around the area where this occurred, and fortunately, it didn't end up worse.
Do you know by any chance if any of these juveniles have had any kind of run-ins with the law before, or is this kind of like a first time?
The suspect does not have a criminal history at all. It's my understanding that one of the victims may have a criminal history out of Lake County. I don't know what that is, but other than that, no.
And I'm sorry if this is repetitive, but you said he's being charged with second-degree...
Attempted second-degree murder.
Just one charge of that? Not
Just
two?
one charge.
How come not two, since two of the boys were shot?
Well, that'll be up to the courts if they want to separate those. Again, this is a serious charge, and we're talking about an 11-year-old child here. I don't think there's a need to stack on charges on an 11-year-old child that has no criminal history. We've done what we feel is necessary to ensure that this case is resolved for the victims, because obviously they come first. They are victims of a crime. But also we have to consider the 11-year-old in this particular case and make sure that, again, he's in the system. We want to make sure that he gets the assistance he needs to put this past him and become a productive member of our society.
Did this happen while did this start while they were practicing? I mean, were they on the field together at the same time? Then something.
I can't answer that question.
Was this a case of bullying?
I don't know if it was a case of bullying. If it was a case of bullying, I think the video shows that it went beyond bullying, that the firearm was retrieved from the vehicle. The two victims were running away when the shot was fired.
Is it surveillance video or is it somebody's cell phone?
It's surveillance video from a camera, the city-owned camera, on the building that this occurred next to.
Was he remorseful? When you guys talked to him or anything?
When I interacted with him, he was very quiet, very shy. Didn't really say a whole lot when I was around. So I really didn't discuss whether he was remorseful or not, but I know that he was very quiet. He looked very somber over the incident.
Did he understand the gravity of the situation?
I can't answer that.
I know they were all like teammates, Top Warner. My question is, was the two victims, were they both the intended targets of the shooting, or was one inadvertently hit?
No, it's my understanding they were the two that were involved in the altercation with him initially. So, okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.